Okay, so welcome to the channel. If you hear the tick, tick, tick in the background, that's my oven getting ready to make my wings. So, housekeeping duties aside, let's talk about getting into the state. So, when something happens in our external reality, and we have that gut punch reaction, all that means is that we've fallen out of the state of what we desire, of knowing our internal goodness, of knowing that everything we want is ours now, because the kingdom of heaven is inside, the kingdom of heaven is within, and it is our Father's good pleasure to give it to us. So, if something happens outside of us that causes us to doubt, worry, or fear what is happening, we've just fallen out of the state. That's all it is. And by recognizing it as soon as we can, that's our opportunity to get back into the state, right? Awareness is where we start. Awareness is key. Awareness is where it begins. And awareness is where we can catch things quicker. So, once we have that awareness and we celebrate it, I'm aware. I've fallen out of the state. I'm falling out of the state and I can't get up, right? It's up to us to find our way back into the state, because we were the ones who fell out of the state due to reacting to something outside of us that is us, right? Anytime something happens, it is for our benefit if we can change our perspective and see it that way. Not always easy, of course, especially when we first get started, but I'm telling you, for certain, it gets easier and easier with practice. So, fallen out of the state. Oh, I've compared myself to someone else's situation. What they have going on is better than what I have going on. Now I feel bad. Just fallen out of the state. Oh, this person I really wanted to call me back didn't call me back in the time frame that I was hoping for. I feel bad. Fallen out of the state. Just a couple of examples. Okay, great. We've fallen out of the state. What do we do? Well, the first thing we can do is offer that person or situation grace, because grace is given to us on a daily basis. It is not something we have in store for months and months and months. Of course, when you create a peaceful feeling over a long period of time, it can feel that way. And of course, that is something to cultivate, to tend to our garden, to remove any weeds, which are obtrusive thoughts that we're not grabbing right away, right? So all of that. But what it comes down to is, and of course I've lost my train of thought a titch, so I'll just go back to how to get back into the state. So we're gonna get back into the state no matter what. Let's remind ourselves of that, because our natural way of being, if we allow it, is to feel good, is to be happy to be alive, is to be satisfied to be here in this place where not everyone is, to express ourselves, to align with what we desire, to allow what we desire to come to us and to be in our lives. And so to get into the state, what do we need to do? Well, we need to gentle our reactions and allow them to dissipate by offering them less attention. Once you've offered attention in a strong way that does not feel good, find any way you can to offer that situation, that person, grace. And now I remember what I was going to say. We all get there. We all get back there when we're ready. Is you want to find a way of forgiving that person by never condemning them in the first place, is what Abraham would tell you, right? Source never condemns. That's not how they do things. But if you can find a way as a person to forgive or to give them the benefit of the doubt, this can only but serve you, because your strong reaction to them, your disappointment towards them, your judgment towards them is what is standing in your way of lining up with your highest good, right? Because Source does not judge, Source allows, right? We're here to decide what we want and to decide on the course of action that feels best to us and pursue it. A lot of us allow ourselves to get in our own way to various levels. That's why we have a lot of people who are very unhappy, right? Who can't express anything but said unhappiness because of the momentum they have towards what they're unhappy about. So if we can find ways to look at that other person and say, they mean well. From wherever they are, they're doing the best they can. They're expressing themselves the best they can from where they are. Regardless of if we think in our little tiny judgment part that they should be doing better or that they shouldn't have done that to us, it doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing that they are where they are. And that's why they reacted how they reacted. But we can take control of how they reacted. And we can find the forgiveness. We can find the gentleness of their actions by reminding ourselves that everyone is doing the best they can from where they are in any given moment. And that's what happened with that person in that given moment. And the sooner we come to peace with that moment and allow our reaction of a negative emotion to dissipate, the better off we'll feel, the easier it will be to climb the emotional scale back towards something like contentment and satisfaction. And then, of course, moving on up the emotional scale, the easier that will all be. So sometimes it's easier than other times, especially if there's momentum there with this person, right? So sometimes it's easier to take your eyes away from the subject for a second, right? So it's whatever you have to do in order to neutralize what's going on, to come back to neutral. If you can close your eyes and do 3 deep breaths with an exhale longer than an inhale, that will help regulate your nervous system. If you can do some light tapping, if you like EFT tapping, and you have the time, if you can take a nap, if you can set aside 5 minutes to meditate. It just depends on the situation of what you can do. But anyone can close their eyes and breathe deeply. Even one deep breath, even one deep conscious breath will help you to regulate. Our breath is our greatest gift. Obviously, without it, we are not alive. We are non-physical. So we're physical because of said greatest gift. We're here to expand. And our breath will help us do that anytime. Anytime we need it, it is there for us. And it's just something to start remembering. One thing I like to do from Abraham Hicks when I have felt strong negative emotion after I've had my awareness is, my emotional guidance system is working. Without emotions, we would not know which way we're looking. If it's on the good side of the spectrum, we're looking toward our desires. If it doesn't feel so good, we are looking away from our desires. It is that simple. And so we can train ourselves to understand that when this is happening, gentling it for ourselves, forgiveness or grace for the other person will be really, really helpful. Turning our attention away to what we'd prefer. The second you feel negative emotion, that rocket of desire is launched. The second, and Source is lined up with it, and Source is with your improvement. So all you have to do is be with your improvement too, up here in your imagination, the most real place. So just take a moment, and if you can, excuse yourself. Maybe you can go for a bathroom break if you're at work. And do 30 seconds of an imaginal act. And do one that you have kind of at the ready. The great thing about imaginal acts is they can be whatever you want. But it is good when you're feeling some dysregulation to have an imaginal act ready for you that you always use. Because that way you make it a habit of, I'm not feeling so hot because this person said this thing and it hurt my feelings. Okay, great. We have awareness. That's step 1. We have awareness. We've launched a rocket of desire for an improvement with that person and in general to feel better. Great. Rocket of desire launched. Source is lined up with the improvement. Source has the improvement. That's where we're still maybe stuck in that step one moment, as Abe would say, and then Source is lined up with our improvement. Okay, and then to gentle it, to relax, to allow the improvement to come to fruition in our mind's eye, because sometimes it'll take a little while for the outside reality to catch up, right? But we allow the improvement, and that's why forgiveness is so powerful, because you don't need the other person to forgive you back. You don't need the other person to agree with you. You don't need the other person to change at all. You just need to change. So it's great. It's super helpful. That will help you get back into the state. Also for me, I find putting my hand on my heart and just a simple, I love Source, or I love God and God loves me. I just find that brings me back immediately. And if you have like a couple grounding statements that always make you feel good, this is the time to trot those out. I love my physical body. That one always makes me feel good, because without this apparatus, I could not walk around on this planet. I could not talk. I could not interact with people in this physical way, right? My experience would be different. My oven is ready. Therefore, this video is going to come to an end because I'm ready for wings. So thank you for listening about just a couple of ways to get back into the state. The more you practice it, the easier it is to get back into the state of the wish fulfilled. And yeah, every time it happens, just get to your awarenessing and look around yourself and think, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to be okay. That's a good one. Didn't mention that one. So that's your bonus tip. It's going to be okay. Soothe yourself as if you were a child. So to get back into the state, forgiveness of the other or the situation, gentle it down, find general thoughts, breathe, unimaginal act, and self-soothing. So that's how to get back into the state. Just a little one. Here is to a great rest of your day whenever you are watching this. And thank you for checking out the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe if you desire. And yeah, let's keep having fun together. And thank you for being on this journey with me. All right, namaste, cheers. And yeah, I'll see you in another video tomorrow. Bye.